Ladies and gentlemen, it's here, Giant Slayer Spike Rush on Rival Esports. I am Unthing here, bring it to you live with my wonderful friends here, Fickle Platypus and Eternal J. Gentlemen, how are you?
Not doing too bad, actually. Had a pretty awesome day. Had some nice roast dinner, as you do on a Sunday in the UK. So certainly ready to go, I feel like. I'm properly fueled to get into this matchup. And for a first Valorant cast as well, I think a lot of people are very excited.
That's exciting indeed. Full of meat, ready to go here. We're jumping into a single elimination best of 3 tournament here and into the semifinal matchup coming here. Cloud9 will be taking on Soniqs in today's match across 3 different maps. Now, we've seen some of these names before, of course, all Rocket League professionals. Fickle, any comments on the rosters as we're looking through these?
Yeah, I'm looking at C9's roster, and Squishy and Gimmick are obviously the real roster, and they have Fireburner as their coach, but then they've also brought in Chicago and AJ. And I know that Chicago and Fire, at least from the time that I'd spoke with them, I know that they're big CSGO players, right, especially Chicago. And looking at the Soniqs roster, Dapper, Shock, Spuda, Dino, and Moopy, I don't know much to say about them personally. I can't attest to anything they played for FPS, but maybe they'll surprise us. Like, we're going in to this as blind as you guys are in chat, and we're mostly having fun here and seeing how well their skill translates from one game to the other.
It is a game that is a total of 7 days old if you don't count the beta. So yes, I would say that we're going in pretty fresh here. I think the information that we picked up from some of our pre-test games was that Shock is pretty dominant. And it's going to be a pretty exciting matchup here. We do have our first map coming up. It's going to be Split, then followed by Haven, and then we'll, of course, move into map number 3. $1,000 on the line. The winners here will move into the grand finals on Giant Slayer stream, and they'll be battling it out for a first and second place take of the victory cash. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things we're going to see here coming into the match. Jay, I know that you are, of course, our seasoned CSGO caster. Tell me a little bit about some of the skills that are going to transfer as we think about comparison in CSGO time and coming into Valorant play.
Well, the cool thing about Valorant is that it is very clearly designed around a lot of the mechanics of CSGO. It's not one-to-one per se, but it is very, very similar. You have very basic sort of stuff, very advanced stuff like certain ways that the guns play, and then all the way down to the point where you have to have your knife out to run, which of course is a staple of Counter-Strike for 20 years. So there are a lot of transferable skills that you can see coming in from one game to the other, which is why actually I think that for in a lot of the cases, Cloud9 will be the ones with the advantage. Fickle obviously mentioning that some of these players are, a big avid CSGO fan, so a lot of the theoretics and sort of the intangible elements of CSGO can translate very well towards Valorant. There'll still be a lot of differences. Obviously, abilities and agents will be 2 of the key things that you have to separate and to try and utilize to your advantage. But for the most part, when it comes down to raw gameplay, a lot of it will be very, very transferable.
It makes a lot of sense. And thinking through things like spray control, crosshair placement, even some of those basic foundational structures that make CSGO so special, Valorant's done a great job enabling those as part of the gameplay that's coming up. So you're right, that is going to be pretty exciting. Now, these players are all from Rocket League, right? Which is not as transferable, but I am curious, Fickle, any thoughts on any of the skills that could come out of their Rocket League professional play into the new Valorant space?
So interestingly enough, I might be wrong about this, but all 10 players, I believe, are controller players. So That's out the window. We're on completely different peripherals. So that's not going to be a problem. I can say that playing Rocket League to even coaching some Rocket League, going over to other competitive games, it's the ability to speak and call out comms while you're playing and focusing. It's super important, especially for a tactical FPS where a lot of information is actually hidden from you, and having pro players who are used to calming in like really high intensity matches, I feel like that's going to carry over. So the calls should be pretty good, especially since a lot of these guys have, playing public games with each other for a while now since the beta and even into release. I think that will transfer over, if not anything, for them playing Rocket League.
Sure. Coordination, map control, things that you would think about when you're considering a rotation in Rocket League may be transferable. But yeah, generally it does sound like that a lot of that will come from working together as a team. Although a little bit of a more extended team here, talking about 5 players versus 3. But yeah, that should be pretty exciting here. Jay, and then I'll jump to Fickle on this too. Considering we're coming into a fairly unknown matchup, what should Cloud9 and Soniqs be considering and prioritizing coming into the first map of the series?
I think it's very natural to expect pug-style strategies and tactics in a lot of these games, especially when you don't have a whole lot of information to pull from. That's part of the reason why, we're not really discussing the teams too much, because there is so little to go off of. And for them, it is more just about focusing on coordination and focusing on rotations. Of course, the skill is the element of the day, obviously. As well as that, picking an agent that seems to work well within your play style. I think that that's probably going to be the best sort of opportunity to open things up. In the Soniqs case as well, where we don't really know if they're particularly good at FPS games, sure. A lot of their talents may rely on the supportive elements of the game.
Yep, I buy that. Fickle, any thoughts?
Well, I'm reading chat here, and apparently chat's claiming that Dapper's about to pop off. So maybe the Soniqs need to corral around Dapper as their carry and let Dapper play somebody like Reyna or maybe Raze or even Phoenix, someone like an Entry that can really snowball the game right from the start. And it's going to come down to, like Jay said, agent picks. Maybe pick something that's a little more meta and helpful for your team. I'm looking at you, Jet mains. And maybe we stay away from that agent as we play into these competitive matches. Wink, wink.
People were saying that about characters like Omen, and then we came out of the beta and the new patch made him a much more valid player in terms of high-level play. Maybe Jet is due for that same kind of change-up, but I agree. You definitely want to prioritize who you're selecting in terms of agents. Your composition is going to be critical in the first match. Jay, just thinking out loud on that one, if they're thinking through map one and they're trying to build a pretty strong, cohesive match and they don't know who they're playing against, are there any safe players that they should be thinking about from an agent perspective?
I think about like agents and the style of sort of like Valorant is that it all depends on your playstyle. You've got certain agents who are more like fitting towards a supportive role and more towards a fragging role. It depends entirely on how you feel about these about your stance and your style in the game, and that's sort of like going to make the key difference. We've seen a lot of different sort of very aggressive players that have been using Reyna, for example, lately. Obviously, being sort of like very prominent in current gameplay due to the fact that she's like the newest agent in the pool right now. Even though there's even players and agents who should be in theory supportive style enablers, like Sova, for example, is one that I constantly think of. But then I've obviously seen several instances where Sova is using a very aggressive style and a very frag style, and that's the key thing to remember, is that a lot of these agents can be very adaptable due to the fact that they're all sharing the same sort of weapon sets, and in that respect, it picks from each of the individual agents is going to come into a pretty decent sort of prominence, I feel like.
That makes a lot of sense. And thinking through, right, the staple characters, right? You're going to see a Sage typically, but the question is, who picks Sage at the end of the day, right? Do you want your Sage main, or do you want someone who doesn't need as much utility going into an offensive play, and then maybe have them prioritize Sage so that they can be one of your more prominent attackers while positioning DPS players in other spots? There are things that these players are all going to have to consider, especially when they're thinking about the maps they're coming into, right? So our first map here is Split. If anyone played the beta, there was a considerable amount of time spent on Split. It's certainly one of the more rounded and well-played maps in terms of the percentage of people who got a chance to play them. But these kids are going to be getting into this one in just a second, guys. Looks like we're going to be getting up into the matchup just now here for game one of this best-of-3 series. Fickle, take us in.
And I'll thank you so much, Unthink, and I'll talk about that point on Split that he was trying to carry over. Coming into the main game now, we're on full release. Split notoriously had a very defensively sided rotation. So if you're on defense, you were usually ending up like 9-3, 10-2. It wasn't very pretty. So they made a lot of changes actually on Split's barrier gates, and they opened mid up quite a bit on release. So hopefully it's not going to be as defender sided as we've seen in the past. People were saying it was reminiscent of Dust 2, very, very kind of one-sided affair sort of thing going on, and they changed it up, so I'm glad to see that. And
yeah, absolutely. Sorry, please, by all means, continue your point.
No, I was going to throw it over to you, man. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I just on that particular point, I think that a lot of those changes can potentially help, but I can see some areas in which potentially they may still favor the defensive side. So, I'm more curious to see how well it will be handled. I think that a lot of changes could have unintended effects. Obviously, in CS:GO, for example, we've seen many changes over the course of its lifespan that have left. It may have changed something that the developer intended, but then there's another element somewhere else where it can be potentially a bit messy. So, I'm kind of curious to see how well a lot of those elements have been adjusted for this particular map. Now, I think the mid position was the thing that was changed the most, if memory serves me correctly. I don't know, I'm a little bit head frazzled these days, so maybe I could be completely wrong, but I think that mid control could be a crucial element to work with when it comes to this particular map, and certainly for the attacking forces, I'll be curious to see how well they will contend on the Sonic side. Looking like they're going to start things off on attack for this one, Fickle.
And yep, it seems like C9 is looking to get on the... I can't see the names just yet, but there we go. Yep, everybody's up in the lobby. Seems like we have the Sonics on the attacking side and C9 on the defensive side. And looks like the Sonics are... let's go over the lineups here just a little bit. So we've got Dapper on Cypher. So I'm looking for him to usually play a little back. Dino's on Ray. Moopy's on Sage. And we also got Spoot on Brim, and then Shock on Breach. It's looking like a pretty meta comp. And on the other side, we also have Squishies on Sova, my personal favorite Sova. Fire's on Ray, Gimmicks on Raze, AJ's on Sage, and Cypher as well. So 2 or 3 of the same champions are agents on both sides. So we're looking at pretty good comps here. And we're going to look at an A push here right off the pistol round.
And Con Strat, I feel like a lot of players and the teams tend to go for the A hit early on the pistols, and it's not going to waste any time here for the Sonic side. We're kind of moving in, looking for the Boomer bot. We'll just shut that down for the moment. Got info on towards one player. One more in the back line. That's Squishy tapping through, getting the first pick, but unable to follow suit with his second. Chicago finds a trade. They do enter in the Sonics. Just need to get that spike plant in for the moment. They're taking it pretty aggressive, but they do wrap over and get a plant in the end. Cloud9 not wasting any time. It seems to set up for this retake, and they do have the player advantage.
Yeah, barrier orb to block off screens. Very tantamount there. It looks like we're going to get a blast pack over the wall. And they're already on the retake. There's a lot of players on site. 2 go down already, and now it's a 1v2 situation. That was a... Ooh, blink and you missed it. Cloud9 retakes the bomb site within less than 5 seconds after planting.
I think you mentioned, obviously, the fact that Cloud9 are very experienced CSGO players of their own right, so some of those FPS skills coming into effect. Very, very confident shooting, I feel like, again, with the opening kills and the trade game going effectively to the defensive side. Cloud9, with their pistol victory, will get it instantly out with the buy up here. I don't think we'll see any such response here from the Sonic squad. I'm seeing an upgrade pistol on Shock, but I think they're going mostly standards here on the attacking force.
Yeah, it seems like they're also going to save here as well, and actually it's going to be a buy on the defensive side for C9. Interesting enough, they got Spectres and a 1 Bulldog, but I think we're going full save here for the attacking side. I would do the same on a defensively sided map. I need to save for guns if I'm going to have any chance. Ooh, and this is kind of cheeky. They're waiting out the recon dart in sewers, so they don't know they're there yet, but they're all stacked in that corner. Seems like Fire may know what's happening here. He's watching that angle from ramps, and here comes the push out from the connector. Dino's on the site already. Where's the entry? He's seen Squishy on site. Squishy picks off 1, doesn't go down. Fire's up in heaven. Luffy takes out Squishy, now they're on site. Gimmicks take out 1 with a grenade, so that's 2 down from the Sonics, and now it's 4v3, and the plant should be going down right about now.
I bet they got a spike plant in the end of it. Not too bad for an eco, but I should see convergence from Cloud9. They should be able to take them apart. Indeed, Shock will go falling, and there's only 1 left, and Whoopie can't do much from here. So, quick retake coming in from Cloud9, again leaving Squishy a little bit out in the open. So, not the most ideal round there, and credit to Sonics for being able to exploit that position. Maybe it might be a bit more direct on the defensive, but they had a generally decent idea there to wait out for a lot of the abilities to sort of fade away, especially on that A site where they seem to have a lot of information in the advanced position. So Sonics, not a bad round. Could have done with a bit more damage onto the offensive forces, and they'll of course be backing up with the buy. The rifles coming out as well for the attacking force, and still leaning towards the A defaults in this one here.
It seems like they kind of spread out a little more. Now that they have guns, I think they're going to try to take more fights in mid to control it. So we're going to see Dapper out here probably peek with the camera. Oh, we just going face first. This is ballsy from Dapper, just peeking out there. 1's in male, 1's in vents. The timing right now. Barrier orb goes up. They know something's in mid, so this is going to halt the push just a little bit. But the way that this map is opened up now, you can actually jump over this. And what a grenade coming out from Gimmick. That's going to chunk Dapper down. Amazing. What a well-placed paint shell from him.
Good mid-defensive there from Cloud9. Sonics have info to work with, but Cloud9 are going to back off and eventually find a pick. Chicago, actually, the man getting aggressive in that particular case, out towards the B side. He will be forced to fall back. He's got cameras up, so should be able to hold off against them and get the info out when they start to make their way in. And if that spike gets spotted, then they'll have all the info they need here. Soniqs don't have enough time to go for rotations, but with the commitment, it seems like they may be left with only a few options here. 47 seconds to the clock. Dapper's going to start to wrap back around, start looking on towards the site. I don't think he saw anyone just yet. An instant ice coming out immediately. Not going to waste any time trying to stall them for the moment. They know that Soniqs have a lot of presence out here. And B main, they will get forced back. Shock does get a pick in that mid position once again. Soniqs have been able to win a couple of fights out here, but now need to press forward even further. Got one player sitting in male. Shock will try flash him out. Second flash coming in as well. Will get spotted out by the tripwire, but Chicago is the man down. AJ will also end up falling. Shot with 3 kills, and now they have access to the B, so it'll be a 1v3 retake for Gimmick.
Yes, and it seems like Breach is already down to sub 25 HP, but he does have Sage. I don't know the cooldown on the heal just yet. So they might be trying to wait that out. Oops, sees one player goes into garage. Can only anticipate that the last player is going to be back right. Knows what the spike is planted. Maybe going to tap it once. Baits the ultimate from Breach. That's a good start. He should still have enough time to recover from this. Definitely don't want to take a fight when you're hit by that. We're going to wait for the bomb plant to ping one more time, and he's getting bombarded with abilities. Pings it one more time. Breach comes around the corner. Nice flick on the one person, but Moopy takes the swing. 2v1 on the bomb site. Clinic play. At least Soniqs get one.
Good use of the abilities there from the Breach, able to stall out, deny the spike defusal. And for the Soniqs, that's an opening round there. Cloud9 got better than them in the opening pistol and conversion, but when the rifles get brought out, it's the aggressive side that wins it in. Should be seeing rifles get brought down, though. I mean, it's taking a little bit of time to sort themselves out in specifics here, Cloud9, but again, should imagine the majority of the main weapons to come out here. And seeing no sniper rifles at the moment here, which is certainly interesting. Obviously, you know, a good AWP player, something that is very recognizable in something like CSGO. And here for the Soniqs and Cloud9 side, they won't be taking such liberties. It is once again the mid control coming out very early on from the aggressive forces as Dino moves in, but just barrier orbs coming out for the moment. Just further damage can try to be sustained here by the Sonic squad.
Yeah, Moopy's face forward taking the trade. He'll be able to heal that up, no problem, back to 100 HP, but he's lost his shields. Here comes Dino on Ray. Probably gonna look for a Lear push here. There goes out. AJ's gonna run, but it gets caught running into Mail. Nice push there from Dino. He's gonna use his miss to maybe peek around Vince. He knows he's in there. We've got one more Lear. Does he decide to use it? He's kind of backing away, maybe taking a little bit of time here. C9 knows they were in Vince, and you can see on the map there that Squishy and Gimmick are already kind of poised in ropes, waiting for the push to happen, but they're gonna quietly position over to the A site. Ooh, and I don't think that they saw him here. Right next to the ult orb. Shock is walking up ramps. He's going to find a vulnerable Gimmick up in heaven if he swings. 2 on the A side, 2v4 situation. Can they get entries? One goes one. Oh, Squishy with 2 kills on the entry. That's going to be huge for them. They'll give him enough time to rotate at least. Squishy's all alone on site. But he should have one more player coming all the way from screens. 2v2 situation. Spoot is walking in.
Will he find him? Yes, he will. Good kill. All rests on one. Chicago with a task and a half. Not quite as offensive as he might want to finger it out here. Around that corner against the first. It all comes out the timing, and Shock gets it on better. Good kill for the final frag of Soniqs, and a nice 2-2 scoreline will be taken. And I love the default plays. You know, as a contrast to the first couple of rounds in the way that they sort of approach the single site hit. They played around middle. They tried to look for the kills against them here. Cleared out the mail room. And of course cleared out the vents to finally pushing towards the A site. And again, it's just Squishy being left alone in the back of the site. He needs a lot more support if they want to hold on, I feel like.
That was a pretty good effort from Squishy, honestly. He had the judge underneath heaven, took out 2 on the entry, and evened it out the playing field. They just were not able to get over in time. The other player was rotating from screens. I believe that was Chicago in the very end. Just didn't have enough time to get over. But I mean, both sides played very well.
This mid-control again from the Soniqs side. Worked well with it since they've been able to dominate. Haven't got much to go up against, though. I believe it's all pistols out for Cloud9 for the moment. Happens to round this corner and deal with AJ pretty effectively. A nice skill to open things up, of course. Second one coming in for the offensive squad. The Fireburner will try and rotate away from the A site defense, suspecting that there may be a B player coming in. And he'd be right to assume this. But no real defensive on the B side. They have one player that's pushed up through the main. There's a little bit of work to do. Ruby gets that kill on Gimmick to start things off, though, as they do set up for the post-plant. 2 versus 5. And a pretty dominating stance here. Again, pretty expected for the Sonic squad. And pistols versus rifles. Cloud9, we're going for the eco. Should be able to buy back into this next one and see what they can throw up in the defense.
Yeah, Chicago hanging on to the Sheriff, hanging out inside of B main. Maybe gets the big gun away. Ooh, misses the headshot on the corner, and Dapper turns on him and takes him down. Surely Chicago would have liked to see at least one gun taken away from the attacking side, but they're going to be all 5 stacked, and that's going to be a perfect economy from the attacking side. They're not going to lose any guns, and they're just going to make pure profit.
The lead being gained by the Sonic side, good defensive held out by Cloud9 initially, but now things have started to slip. We're starting to see a bit more of an awkward game coming out from the defensive half. But again, caveats all in stew. You're going to play that standard style of default here. Those 2 players into the mid position, going to get contested by a lot more from the Sonic side. Let's see if this variation pays off for them. 3 players looking to round the corner here. Dino looks for the first player in the mail room. Also seeing the vent player spotted out, just going to pull that out for the moment. Force the man back. Good ice again coming through. It seems like they're going to start to use some ultimates out in this one. Dino will force them back for the moment. Now orbital strike not connecting towards anyone against the Sonic side. They will continue to burst in, try look to the heaven area, just try and catch this bit off, but no, Dino running out of ammo. Spooder will get the trade for Squishy in Chicago, trade it right back. But Cloud9 maintain control, and it looks like they're going to maintain the round.
And there's only 1 player left on the Sonic side. It's just Shock on site. He does have Spike, but this is still a doable situation. If he gets 1 pick here, has to avoid the Leer on Heaven. He has his ultimate, so it's not completely lost. 2 players have full HP. He has a Spike. Is he going to make a cheeky rotation to A, I think? He's going all the way around. Maybe if he just hoofs it, he can get there, and it seems like a complete bait to the B side, and he's all alone on this A plane, and this is surely way more doable now, especially since he has his ultimate.
The spike plant coming in, same position as last time. Be a bit of a criticism of the Sonics offensive. They've only planted towards 2 positions on the A and B bomb sites, so... Opportunity. Squishy gets Hunter's Fury out, predicts it pretty well. Just going to fire through, though. Can't find any info and can't find any for it, so we've still got a chance. Just in the back corner. Forward, up against it. Shock's going to get another kill on a flashbang against Squishy. Knows roughly where he's held out. Just going to face around for the main boxes, and Squishy will win out the fight. Fortunately enough for him. Just down to that HP differential, but the fact that they got so much damage from 1 player on Sonics, they're going to be proud of that round, I feel.
That was an amazing effort there from Shock all the way around. And we're going to look at a replay of that situation here. Coming through, and here's the entry into Heaven. Unfortunately, Dino goes down because he wasted his ammo on the barrier orb, but they got 2 kills up in Heaven. 3 kills, honestly. And they tried to keep pushing forward, but they were not able to do it. It all came down to Squishy versus Shock in the end, and Squishy actually got the 1 bullet he needed on Shock after getting ultimated by Breach, and that slows your attack speed, so it's really not easy to do. So kudos to Squishy for clutching out that last round.
Keeps us at evens once again. The Sonics, however, will have themselves a rebuy into this one. Playing very passive on the defaults this time, though. Again, going for the standard mid control, and Cloud9 aren't going to challenge too much for it. They'll put the standard grenades and plays out from Gimmick here. No info and very minimal damage being sustained, if any. I don't actually think there's any damage across the board of the mid position. Very carefully, they'll play this one here. The Sonics realizing that, I mean, I'm not sure if they've used up all their playbook at this moment in time, but definitely feels like they've thrown quite a lot of the wall, a lot of variation coming out in the early game, and Cloud9 have got a good beat onto what's going on here. They're actually going to concede that mid-control, rotate back towards the A site, because Squishy, the lone defender, has gone down once again, and Sonics opening up opportunities across this map.
Yeah, Sova is a perfect character to play site anchor because he can get so much information just by himself. So it's really about spotting and calling out the rotations. Once he dies, they know that push is coming in. And so now everybody's running up through Heaven. All 5 players from the Sonics. Dino's looking towards Viali. And he's going to spot 3 people. 1 goes down, hits a trade out. 3v3 situation here post-plant, and AJ's actually going to get up a clutch res. That actually makes it a 4v3, but the barrier orb is in alley, so they're going to have to either push to that or go back up to heaven. We've got about 30 seconds to play with there. They don't have to rush it per se, but their time is dwindling.
Where you are.
More info going the way of the Soniqs. Good kill from Fireburn to get the trade gimmick. Follows through on towards Sputter there. Completely blind. Once again, it's all left the Shocks in the 1 versus 3. And he'll do his best, but it won't be enough. Cloud9 do manage to overwhelm them here with that player advantage being so crucial, and that revive really did help them out in that particular case. So well played there from Cloud9. And again, I'm loving the retakes coming in. The coordination is just so good from the defensive side. I would love to see a bit more of a defensive basis, because I've seen them losing those opening kills a bit too many times for what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, and it seems like we actually have an op on the field now. So there was one last round, I believe it was from some member from the Soniqs. I didn't catch their name, but now we have a defensive op on Chicago, and he's going to be holding down B main, it looks like, all by himself on the B site. And again, so was positioned on the A site, got 3 players in mid, so they're pretty spread out here and not really looking for any one rush or the other. And so actually, it looks like looks like the op is actually peeking into B main quite aggressively, but that's not where the push is going to be. It's actually coming from mid.
Cloud9 fighting that mid control with passiveness, as they seem to have done throughout the entire course of this matchup, and they're going to pay for it. Fireburner, first man down at the hands of Dapper. Excuse me, they got an earlier pick, I believe. 5v3 situation. The Soniqs are maintaining full control of this one. Dino's going to move in, got 1 player around the corner. AJ going to support and take Dapper down to the first pick in this challenge. Bit of information for Squishy, see if he can find anything. Indeed, he does see 1, but the rotations are coming out immediately. They're not going to take this challenge. They know that they've been conceded, so they'll just fall back and replay this. And they've got a spike control. They do have it, actually. It's been planted back on the A site, so retake's going to have to come in. AJ will swing out from heaven. There's a big flank coming in from another player up the Sonic side, and Squishy's holding on for good kill. Sputter in the back lines, gets himself a 2v2, now just down to 1. AJ just going to go ahead and stick the diffusers. Moopy cleans up Chicago. Got to get here quick. The sprays through, will do a bit of damage. The face around the left-hand side will go well for the offensive player, and it will be a clutch for Moopy, a 4th for Soniqs. Down to the wire as this half continues to rage on.
Ooh, very, very quick post-plant situation there. They forced off the barrier orb and ropes to make Moopy run all the way around, but he does get all the way around fast enough to stop AJ on the plant. You know, honestly, if AJ just stuck it, he probably would have gotten that diffuse, because it's actually harder than you think to bang through that wall right there. And it actually takes a lot of help from your allies to ping the bomb to know exactly where they're diffusing. I think he could have done it if he just stuck it and tried to take the trade, but either decision was good, but he just chose the wrong one.
Has certainly been a close and down to the wire matchup here, Fickle. Both teams standing at 4-4 as a result of their counter plays, and still a couple of mistakes being made here and there, but mostly it is the Cloud9 side making those mistakes. Again, losing these opening picks against the Soniqs side as they dominate that mid presence and just take control early on. Hoping to catch some players on the rotating positions, but unable to see anything as of right now. I mean, there's our pistols out for Cloud9 once again as they look to concede this 9th round. The gimmick goes falling next to the hands of Dino, and now keep his eyes on the vents area, but again, not going to see anything major. There should be a plant coming through. They have at B-site control. Chicago goes falling. It will leave it all to Dapper. And Moopy from the Sonic side will rotate back out of position and now look to just get this plant towards A. And I do love the Soniqs, actually. The fact that they're just going from A to B to A, you know, constantly playing the defaults, not committing full onto a site, and, you know, keeping their options open. It certainly is pulling Cloud9 for a loop there. Not 100% confident when it comes to their rotations. Squishy will get 1 good kill on the defense, but it's all left to 1 man now.
Yeah, at least he got 1 gun. That's a take-home victory on the pistol round, or the eco for Cloud9. Fireburner actually picked up a Vandal. 1v3 situation with Reyna, and her ultimate is on deck. Does he decide to use it? Very doable if he actually pops all of his utility, but maybe he just wants to save the Vandal to get into this next round. But he's going to go full force, gets the headshot on the 1 on elbow. He's going to take a nice overheal there. Gets the second one. Where's the last one? Last one's actually hanging around. Over on the backside there, he's going to stick it. Halfway, Sage's going to swing around and takes down Fireburner. That was patient play for Movie not to get baited on the first ping of the bomb, and he takes him down after that. I would have liked to see Fireburner actually use Dismiss to move around the corner after that second kill to scout a little bit before he defuses that bomb. But, you know, 2 kills down on the eco round, it's not bad. 5-4 inside of Soniqs.
Seen a very little use of Dismiss, honestly, throughout the course of this one. I mean, from both of the Reyners here, it's usually such a big ability to take if you're with this agent, you know, just because of the fact that she can heal up so much and get quite a lot of an advantage above the opening duels.
Ooh, that's massive.
And take a look at this. This is going to be Squishy's ultimate coming out, getting himself 2 kills through the walls, bottlenecking the defensive initially. Soniqs do lose 2, and now support has arrived. Fireburner here, Squishy with his triple, and Soniqs get absolutely decimated. The blind fire will come in, but it's mostly a chance to allow the last to escape. Dino's going to fall. Squishy with a 4K. What a round from Cloud9.
Squishy was setting up that play for 10 rounds. He was always on A site. He knew they were coming. He knew the tempo. I don't think he used a dart. It got immediately destroyed, but then he just went up the footsteps. He just ulted right into the connector into the site and got at least 3 or 4 on one ping. Takes out another one on the second shot, and then the third shot lands a second kill. That was a 100% Squishy round. 4K, 15-8 on the scoreline. He's top ranking for his team, so maybe he can carry this and get a couple more rounds on the defensive side.
Going into round 11, we'll only get a couple more rounds for them to take at the moment, but Cloud9 making effective use of their facilities at the moment. Doing wonders for them at this stage, and even though they are losing a lot of the early advantages, they're able to find situations where they can trade it so well. Here come the orbital strikes to try and force that issue, though. Squishy does get shot to start things off and doubles up on towards Moopy again on this A-side defense. In fact, he's going to push quite forward and get kills down in the underpass area. 5-on-3 situation, trying to make it a triple kill all in all. Squishy showing up his skills as Dapper's next to go down, and what do you do from here? AJ going to move in from mid as Spuda gets caught off guard, and there really is only one player left. That has been an absolute disaster of a round from Soniqs, all thanks to a bit of aggression, and Cloud9 look to take this in.
Yeah, it's definitely Squishy season in these rounds number 10 and 11 as he pushes through A and actually catches 2 and the spike rotating out through sewers. So once he has that down, he knows he can just hold that long angle towards mid, and they have to aggress him because he knows he's already pushed through A. So that's very well played from Squishy. He's gotten a total of, I think, 8 kills in the last 2 rounds. So that's massive top fragging for Squishy, 10 more than any rest of his team. And then Chalk on the other side, 12-9, trying to hold the Soniqs up, but he hasn't really done much in the last couple of rounds. We're looking at like a 6-6 half here on split. This is a really, really even match between Soniqs and Cloud9. Ooh,
Chicago. It's got the operator out, pops out, gets that first kill on Dapper, but an instant res coming through, so they're not even going to mess around with that. It's a nice way to start, but Soniqs, of course, having all their ultimates available, but they use them right now because at the moment, Cloud9 on the advantage at this end of the half round. The operator still looking down and bearing onto the long position. They were usually using a lot of abilities out here to try and stall them from making any progress. There's something just straight up aggression. The operator in for Gimmick, it seems. They'll keep their eyes on. Chicago peeks out, gets Dapper down. Another kill going his way as they look to enter on towards mid for the Sonic side. Once again, Fireburner's going to hold out. Moopy and Shock do clean them up, though. Gain that mid control and gain an advantage for Sonics. It's not going to last long, though. Squishy again on the flank, gets himself 2, looking for the triple, and he gets them all. Once again, Squishy stands up strong for his squad, and now Dino's left alone a 1-on-3. And how many times have you seen him win these 1-on-3s? I can't really remember any. He'll face up, will get 1 kill in male, but a lot more to be done here. Could I say the 1v1s actually, so it could still be winnable, I feel like.
And she just popped her ultimate as well. So it's going to makes her quite a bit of a duelist here. He's going to see one coming up into heaven. Oh, the tripwire. He can't get under it, but he's trying to get over it. Throws the Leers out, pops the tripwire, goes in. Oh, doesn't check the corners. No. Oh, he did everything right except check that hard corner behind. Oh, Chicago patiently waiting. 7-5 for C9, and we're going to switch half.
Wow, 21 kills for Squishy, and we can watch this on the replay again, just the sequencing, the crosshair placement, all the mechanical skills you'd need from a single player, it's all coming up Millhouse for him. And it's giving Cloud9 a major advantage because I feel like he's the guy that's really giving them the most. I mean, even when he's alone in the back of the A bomb site, you know, when he was holding that defensive, I questioned it a lot of the time because I felt like, hey, he would have needed a bit more support so we could have done more for the Cloud9 defensive. But even on his own, he's hard carrying hard. Take a look at that stat line. Yeah. It is something else. Going into the offensive half, Cloud9 could have a major game ahead of them.
Well, I dare say that was a pretty good attacking side for the Soniqs, and now they've got a chance to show what they can do on defense. As I mentioned before, split notoriously defensive-sided map, even with all the changes. So 7-5, maybe not so bad. 5 rounds on attacking is something to take home. And we'll see how the Soniqs play this defense on the pistol round. But it seems like C9's already aggressively pushing up mid, and they're going to take the barrier orb down and just kind of waltz wide in.
Yeah, straight up and out. Dino will get that first kill for the Sonic side. Try back away. They're taking down Gimmick and trying to find a different angle to work with. They will get those cyber cages out for the Cloud9 side. They aren't going to press much further forward in the mid control than this. Instead, they're going to rotate back towards the A offensive, and there could be a hell of an offensive up for them. Because there is no real resistance from the Sonic side. Again, they've left one player down low to try and hope for a good kill or two. And I'll keep them moving in once again, just a very aggressive stance being taken as Squishy looks on to try and find the entry. Dino's going to fall back out of heaven, got backup of his own, he'll get spotted out by the recon bolt. AJ, looking for whatever he can, may have a bit of healing as he looks on towards the main entrance, hoping to catch one player popping out. 2 of them instead put the damage on. 82 points of HP for him. Chicago gets put down. Dapper swings in, can't get his kills though. Soniqs are struggling against Cloud9, but they are doing the damage. They get the pick on AJ, and now 2 players are extremely low out of the 3 left remaining for Cloud9, and Chicago falls for it. Spike can't make its way to the site. Shock will take down Squishy the carrier, and now it's all left to 1. Fireburner alone, and Soniqs will take a pistol.
That was a really long pistol round for the C9 squad. They had control of mid, but then they got picked off over in heaven and decided to long rotate back through sewers onto the A site. And Soniqs were with them every step of the way. They made a clean rotation over to the site. C9 got there, put the recon dart down, spotted out through heaven, but actually didn't end up getting anywhere past that point. So excellent play there from the Soniqs, just to call out the movement from the attacking side. And it seems like C9 is actually going to gesture over to A once more, but they've only got pistols, it looks like. And they're just going fast. This is Soniqs levels of speed as they march into the bomb site on the ramp. Chicago takes one, takes a fight with the Spectre, tries to take up the Leer as well, but they're going to be met with some guns on this side. It's not looking well for C9 going too far.
Well, Squishy does find one of the back lines, getting Splitter down. Needs to get that spike back to him. But AJ is suppressed desperately in need to try to take down somebody out here, and just with the blindness coming through, all left to Squishy now, and just not enough firepower for him. You know, 1 versus 3, I could have given it to him, you know, if he had some rifles, but just the pistols versus the automatics. The Soniqs will come out on top to equalize us once again. It seems like Cloud9, despite the brilliance of some of their play, they just can't seem to catch a break and take a definitive lead above the Soniqs side. I think we've only seen about a 2-round lead at best between these 2 teams, so Cloud9 with a chance to break it, as again, they are up for the bye here. Rifles for everybody on the offensive half, and this time they're leaning much more towards the traditional A defaults.
Yep, they stacked over 4 here on the A site. They've got Cypher lurking in mid. I'm curious to see if they decide to push this fast or let Cypher kind of work. Cypher's going to spot out cameras in mid, but AJ's going to peek immediately. There's the Owl drone to give a little bit of information. It's going to go up to ramps. Everybody's going to hide from that. It seems like the breach has backed off. Molly is blocking main connector. It dissipates. And now here's the entry onto the site. They should have a pretty clear entry. It's only going to be Brimstone on the backside. Breach gets taken out in heaven. Trade for 1. 2v1 trade in favor of the Soniqs.
Headshot.
Good kill from Dapper to return to a 3-on-2, but still favourable to Cloud9. 2 players on site. A 3rd flanking just in case they come back from the offensive half. And not much that Moopy can do from here. He'll try and look for something, but in the end it looks like it may just be a save call from the Sonic side. Better hold on to those weapons and save your economy state. I mean, they're just jump facing and hoping they catch something off, but looks like she might go ahead and commit to it in the end. Facing up from heaven again, the orbs will come out. Mine for the moment, and they enter through. It's AJ taking that Moopy though, so not much left for Dapper. Chicago cleans up that one, and Cloud9 do maintain their lead just by the skin of their teeth.
And it seems like whenever Cloud9 are on rifles, they're actually way more comfortable. As you can see in that match, Squishy picking up another 2 kills. And he lost his rifle, but he should be able to buy back up on this next round. That's a really pivotal win for Cloud9, especially since they decided to save 2 rounds in a row on the pistols. So they obviously know what they're doing. They're putting their investments into rifle rounds, and they're okay to drop those first couple ones and just rally back whenever they have the gunpowder to duke it out.
Cloud9 off the back of that round and the heavy resistance that the Sonics showed up. Gonna go for a bit of a different style here. Going to lean towards that B default as they go towards mid for the most part. They're going to get a lot of info towards this mid position as the recon bolt spots out Dino at the start. Squishy looking for the second player, unable to get move beat down. Fall back out to the ML room towards Heaven, get some healing going. Might have to get a bit more resistance up here, and indeed the ice will come out and keep sure that make sure that AJ doesn't press any further forward than this. So 1-for-1 trade, good information game there from Cloud9, but again losing out the overall man advantage to start things off in this round. Chicago will try and claim it back here towards the B main entrance. Oh, missing that shot against Dapper, he takes him down. The advantage swings to the favor of Soniqs.
It seems like they're going to try to revive their carry Squishy. Up in mid, AJ was he was waiting for that the entire time. He was trying to clear out space on top of that platform just to get that res off for Squishy. So Squishy is back on the playing field, 4v4 situation. And they have Spike in mid. Seems like they're going to go to ropes. They're going to be the breach here if they're not careful. And Squishy gets taken out for the second time in the round on top of ropes. They've got 2 more players in. They're just going to fully push this breach. Breach goes down. And now they only got to worry about Brimstone coming up from Heaven. Molly comes out, but it's a little late. They see the top of the head. Spinda up on top of the box. Nice move from Gimmick, but Spooda's going to say hello to his friend, the Judge. As Spike goes down, only 12 seconds remaining, and surely this is going to be a
Fireballer will get 1 pick out of the way. Some healing over here then, but I don't think we've got much further than this. That's a secondary pick, but the last player is far too far away, so there just won't be any real opportunity for him to recover the round. And Cloud9 taking a long time to try to get those trades together. Again, that's an early player advantage really hurting them. And this time they weren't able to get those trades. So Soniqs still one away from the Cloud9 side, and heavy investment round coming in from them. They've got rifles out on most players, a pistol for Chicago. Might be worth it to potentially dropping something. I don't know if there's any weapons that actually with the money line they can buy, so that's most certainly not going to be fun for Cloud9. And another equalization round that Soniqs could exploit in Hull. Cloud9 going to look to make early plays out of the A bomb site. Squishy will move up earlier to try and get some information to the Heaven area. It's going to clear out all this position and realize that nobody's actually out here, so they're going to be playing passive angles and onside directly. How can they track them down?
Recon Dart goes out. That's actually going to spot Spuda underneath Heaven. And oh, the Judge instantly. Say goodnight, AJ. Loving the Judge. Molly goes down. The damage is done. He blocks up the site and actually does a lot of damage to Squishy so that Shock can pick him up from Heaven. Spike is down right outside the A site, and all the rotations are coming in from Soniqs.
I really appreciate that play from Shock and Spuda. One of the things that I criticized Cloud9 for in that first half was just leaving Squishy to solo hold the site, whereas this time they played initially, they baited them in to look towards that corner, and Spuda got 1 as he went down, Shock picked up 2 more, and overall gained the player advantage for the Soniqs side. Now look to get a bit more out of this one. Dino getting a kill, rotating out of position, going to get behind Chicago. A nice sequence from him, double up for the defensive round, and the lead regained by a Soniqs squad. Cloud9 shouldn't have a whole lot to work with from here. They may have to go with a bit of a low buy at best. And yeah, just pistols out. We're seeing the slight buy coming in from Squishy and Co, but not much going to come out of this round from the offense.
Yo, that play from Dino was absolutely massive. He pops his ult, actually uses Dismiss, and so when you're in your ultimate with Reyna, your Dismiss actually turns you completely invisible, not just invulnerable. So he was able to get a flank right in the middle of the open by popping up on the other side of that player and taking them down. So really nice use of the mechanics there, and I don't think they were actually even familiar with Reyna's abilities at that moment, so that was just an easy pickings for Dino.
Once again from Sputter, spamming away with the judge, but unable to get the opening kill, and AJ will turn it around, so it looks like they might secure a spike plant from here. A bit too passive from the Soniqs defensive this time. Dino does come in and get a kill on the spike carrier. Squishy trades it right back, though, to a 3-on-3 scenario, so these pistols are actually doing quite a bit of work as they rotate out. Shock's going to play passive, potentially flash his teammates in. AJ's going to evade that entirely and try and put the ice up, deny any vision as well and any sort of aggression into the main site. But with this spike being out in the open, Cloud9 need to fight back and try and recover it. And that's not going to work well as Dapper takes out AJ to start things off in the post-minute. Desperate attempt from Dapper, trying to see if he can find anything out here in the mid position. And here we go. Here comes Hunter's Fury from Squishy. Going to try take out one, unable to land them. They do connect to some information, but very carefully Shock will wait back. Chicago swings out, gets another kill, and it's a 2-on-2 scenario. Soniqs are really letting this one go. They've now got rifles to work with. A pick back on Moopy that won't go quite as well for them, so it's all left to Squishy in the back lines. He's got himself a Sheriff. He has the spike, and he might be able to secure a plant from here, but anything else after that is going to be so difficult.
He knows he has Cypher up in heaven weak, so he's going to try to bait this. Just the timing on that. They're going to spray down the screen. They're going to miss him slightly. Spike goes down, so at least that's money on the table. Nice little recon dart from there. Dapper nearly dodges it by jumping behind the sign. Excellently played from Dapper as well. That was just timing to avoid the peek from the back of the site, avoid the recon arrow from Sova, and they're going to trade off some defusing here for some hold points. And so Loopy's going to be able to have his revive next round. And that was just a really strange round all around because, you know, Spuda does his job getting the entries down with the judge, takes out the spike carrier in combination with Shock, and then it's a stalemate in between heaven and the bomb site. So you don't really see that a lot on the A side.
Did look a little bit suspect, though, as he missed the majority of his bullets against players that were coming in aggressive. And again, with the lack of direct sort of defensive, I feel like they kind of let a spike plant go and a lot of damage against the Sonic side. So back up to a 2-round lead for the defensive forces. Cloud9 rebuying down with rifles once again. We've seen the mid control coming out from the Sonic squad, but the large stack up again towards the A default, and this has been working out pretty well for them. I mean, a bit hit and miss in certain cases, but so long as they can cover off their angles and get the necessary information, they should be in a decent position. They will know of one, and they'll have some information to try and track him down, isolate, and get the kill. The flashes just come through from Shock, but he only gets one kill as Gimmick comes through, and here comes the orbital strike from Sputter. Not able to get anything out of this, but Dino does see one, taking Fireburner down, and will try and stall for a couple extra seconds as Dapper gets one player getting aggressive. Gimmick will end up falling, so it's once again left to 2 as Dino continues to fire away. The info has been held, the spike is held back to the corner. The plant does come through though. Dapper falls, Sputter falls, and just like that, Cloud9 have turned the whole situation back to their favor. Moopy getting a revive back in. Chicago going to try to deny, but Moopy gets that kill. So once again, it's left to the carry. Squishy in the back of the site, seeing heads, gets a fantastic spray on Dino. Gonna forced to reload, but now looking for info on the last. As soon as he sees this player, this could be the end of the round for him here. Turns away at the wrong moment. Oh, the timing on that couldn't have been worse as the Moopy will pick up the final frag and pick up the 11th for the Soniqs.
Squishy has just been the unfortunate victim of really bad timing, as that's 2 rounds in a row where he was just right on the angle and then decides to move away at the wrong moment. It happens to you so often in games like this where it's just, what can you do? Feels bad. They got to recover from that, but that's going to be 3 rounds in a row for the Soniqs, and that's 3 failed entries on the A site and post-plant situations. And so Soniqs are actually using this defensively sided map to their advantage, and like I mentioned before, that 5-7 on the half was not actually as bad as it seems, considering they're going to be able to pick a lot more up on this defensive side.
What about how the defensive side of this map can be, and Soniqs most certainly are benefiting from that half switch. Fireburner and Chicago take the aggression. It's actually Gimmick the one that gets the opening kill again towards the A play. It's very passive from the Sonic side as they try and keep these two held back into a corner. Meanwhile, the hit is actually coming through towards the A side. AJ is going to get shot down for another good kill for Cloud9. That's overwhelmed the A side defensive. Could have timed it well against the likes of AJ there, but only Sputter getting Gimmick down as the abilities do come out, and they will be able to pick up that spike and get the plant in. The 4 versus 3 scenario for the moment. How can the Soniqs hold out on the retake here? They've got such a major disadvantage. They will get some picks, but it's just responded to so effectively by Fireburner out on this one. Very slow and passive at the moment. Dapper's going to try to jump over the barrier orb, but he just can't seem to do anything. Moopy goes falling. It's all left to him. 1 versus 3, and it looks like he's out of dodge. Not going to bother with this one, as it will be Cloud9 taking a 9th here for the offensive half, I should say.
Yep. Dapper's just going to run away with his Phantom. No harm done there. They finally get an entry into the A site and actually stick it. It was a very close call once again because the spike doesn't really seem to get to the bomb site very consistently. It was the work of AJ having to put the slow orb down up into heaven, then grab it and put it down. But they're not able to get these like fluid plants onto the A side. They'll steal this one away. Soniqs still should have a buy here. They got their economy's not that hurt. Dapper should be able to buy for one of his teammates as well to pick up another rifle. So it's going to be rifles and rifles on this 9-11 round there. And on the attacking side, Cloud9 look to string together a couple more.
Only within 2 of the lead right here. Cloud9 have certainly kept this close, and they sort of say the same thing for the Sonic side for the most part here. 3 moving in aggressive. It's going to be 4 moving in aggressive to start things off towards that B site defense. The mid control will be challenged, but very passive, and so it'll all be left to 1. Dapper in the back line inside that corner. Info being seen. The Cypher Cage goes first, spraying manically to get any more, but he only gets damage. Gimmick follows up with 2 frags as he gets out, looking up towards heaven. Moopy is there, and he is forced out of position to try reposition for the Sonic side to get this retake in. AJ will get squishy on the revive, so Cloud9 have a full 5-man set to try and hold off against this bomb site. Spuda will catch Gimmick getting aggressive, but a spike plant does come through.
Spuda's been massive on the judge plays, honestly. It's one of the best weapons for maybe some newer players that don't understand spray mechanics, but he's been making it work absolutely pretty well here. Regardless, I don't think they're going to be finding this one, as Shock's going to run away with his Vandal in the 4v1 situation with no ultimate to boot. He's just going to save it all the way on the A side. And that's a very nice play from Cloud9. They haven't really shown the B push in the last 4 or 5 rounds, so they're going to storm it immediately. Dapper only gets to pick up 1 on the entry, and it wasn't enough time delayed for the Sonics to get back over the vent.
Wow. Oh. Nope. I thought for a second Shock was going to get away alive. I thought Squishy didn't have enough time. I'm still used to my CSGO timings there, but that's going to be a lot of damage being sustained by the Sonic squad, and considering the amount of damage that Cloud9 have done in the last few rounds, it might force their buy to be a low one here. They can't afford the full-blown set of rifles. You can see how that's going to take effect. Pistols, shotguns, not a lot out here for the Sonics. Actually, 3 shotties could still go well, but those aren't the full sheriffs at the moment.
Any shorty mains in chat?
The Cloud9 side only within 1 of the lead here, and this could be that round that overtakes it. Sonics are going to have a tough little time. I'm going to play the bottlenecks here, and again, make good use of their abilities. The early barrier orb up will try and stop them making that mid control, but a press in from mid, and of course from the A bomb site, they'll see 1 take out Sputter very effectively. In the heaven area is where they'll try and contest for the next. Gimmick will try hold off for a moment. They should be a known entity here. Despite will make his way up, Squishy easily gets that kill. And AJ will clean up Moopy. They will try and hold on, but they won't be able to do much with it. So should see a spike plant coming in the moment now. And we should not be seeing a Sonics retake, or at least one that will be successful.
Yeah, they're just rolling over him, as you would expect on the eco round. And they've tied it up 11-11. This is fantastically close, Jay, as we come in the C9 Sonics match. This is the first match, and it's almost looking like it's going to go the distance. This might be a force buy from the Sonics here. Op on the field from Shock and a Rifles, but if they don't win this, surely it's going to be another one in a row for Cloud9, because this is a do-or-die situation for them. I don't think they're going to be able to force a buy in the next round with full Rifles, so this is a really pivotal round for the Sonics on defense.
And a match point round as well, should be noted. Looking for 12 on the board for these 2 squads. And the potential to the victory well within their grasp. We're seeing already the early shots coming out. Aggression from Squishy as he tries to look for the info, try to track down this 1 player and get and trace that position. I mean, he does flush out most of the site, but they're not going to focus on that A site control. The spike's actually been dropped outside of the mid control for the moment. They'll look for the opening kills as they stack 5 players up in this position. We've seen a lot of heavy sort of mid control coming out from the offensive half. Nothing quite of this sort of nature And for Cloud9, they may well work with it. They are just pressuring and trying to find those kills. Eventually, Dino is forced out to the wraparound. Sputter will get out of dodge, as you can see this site. It's all left to Moopy to defend B. Gonna have to keep himself at bay, although the orbital strike plays so well. Oh, that was so close to bottlenecking and taking out 2, 3, maybe even all 5 at certain points. But in the end, it will be the gunplay that works better for the Sonic side. Dapper with a double, Sputter comes in with a kill of his own right, and Cloud9 will eventually lose control of the situation as further info comes in for the Sonic side. They know where the last 2 players are at. Spike can't calm down just yet. Dapper will still around the corner, and AJ will get the kill back to 2 versus 2. Fireburner takes it to 1, and they all leave it to the hands of the lone Sonics member. The spike plant does come through, and how does Shock deal with this?
Well, he's got the big gun in hand. This is going to be tricky, because does he go for the clutch here? Because he could save the offer to the next round, but he's got plenty of time to work here. This is a really difficult situation to navigate. If he loses the op, for sure it's done, but if he wins, he's a hero.
Drops in. Flashing around the corner, checking main, go check the site, sees one on the spike plant position, but is unable to follow up with a secondary kill. Nice double peeking from Cloud9, and they're going to get to map point. 12 to 11, Sonics still within touching distance of the opposition, though. This could still be anyone's game.
Yeah, and look at the buy here from the Sonic side. They're able to pick up just by the skin of their teeth a Phantom, so I miscalculated that just a little bit. So they still got rifles on here, so completely doable round. They were able to afford that by like 100 to 200 credits at minimum. So they still do have a full buy here, so it's doable. So good decision for Shock to actually try to push that and make it happen, but this is match point here for C9.
Not a lot of ultimates in the ulti pool for either side, so it may just come down to abilities and gunplay, and already Cloud9 are winning out on that latter point. 2 easy picks instantly as the barriers go down, making it 3 as AJ enters. Dino will get 1 good kill back from the heaven area. Moopy will get a kill back, a revive, excuse me, on Sputter. So Sonic's going to buy themselves a last chance here. A 4-on-3 scenario. They are at a disadvantage. The spike plant is in, and Moopy can't get Fireburner caught out aggressive on the rotation. So just left to the 2 players now coming in from heaven and from the main entrance. And time is of the essence. Fireburner will shield himself for the moment, but it's not necessary. Squishing gimmick will clear out. 13 to 11. You can't get much closer than that. And what a way to start our series between Cloud9 and Sonics.
Amazing, amazing play all around. Squishy, look at the stats here. 30 bomb in the lobby. The next closest is 22 on Shock and AJ, and the rest are in the teens. So Squishy obviously top fragging in that game. He had some absolutely massive rounds in the later half of the defensive side for his team. 13-11 on splits. Starting off on attacking side, that's not half bad. We got some replays to go through from this match, so we're going to see probably some of those moments we're talking about with Squishy. And here's that entry into heaven. Just mowing them down on the top there on the barrier orb. They can't really run, they can't really move, so excellent use of utility there. Just a lot of trades handled out there. Yeah,
I do love that. Basically, for the most part, Squishy is involved in almost every single, will be involved in almost every single one of these replay moments, just because of how much impact he had. Like, you know, the 30 bomb is such an elusive sort of, achievement in something like a CS:GO, for example, because, you know, you have 30 rounds. So if you get a 30 bomb, you are basically efficiently contributing to every single round on average. And in this case, you know, that's probably going to be closer to a 24 bomb just due to the MR12 sort of aspect of Valorant. So the fact he went above and beyond the Call of Duty in this case is something else, I think, for Squishy, and I think that it's really proven that some of those skills from CS:GO have certainly transferred over Fickle.
Yeah, he probably had to have at least, 1.5 kills in every round. We played, 14 rounds, 30 kills, you do the math. But someone who has been doing math on the sidelines is Unthink, and he's going to give us a recap of that once we bring him in. So Unthink, what do you think about that map?
Math's really hard. That's what I thought about that. Fantastic map. I'll tell you, the first half nail biter, second half just as much, right? This really felt like it could have gone either way. But there was certainly a bit of force in C9's favor, so I got to give it to him. That was a fantastic way for us to kick off some Valorant here at Rival Esports. So, you know, just jumping into the match and thinking about these things, C9's defensive side, fairly passive, right? We watched that for a bit. They certainly weren't overly peaking. They focused on, you know, a no-rush strategy and just holding back and making sure they held strong angles. Thinking about that, Jay, overall, it looked like, was this the right move?
It seemed like it was, I mean, obviously Cloud9 being the victors of the matchup overall. I didn't think it got a little bit too down to the wire, though, for my liking. And again, when it comes to their first half on Cloud9, I'm still not a big fan of how they approached that tactically. Again, a lot of their strategies basically was just a case of let's go passive and let Squishy just get the kills.
Right.
And that can work in the case of where you have such a major advantage above firepower. But I don't think that it's going to be enough to get them, very far in terms of the grand scale of the series. I don't know who picked this map in particular. If it was Cloud9, then that says a bit of a weird sort of stance for this squad, because of the fact that, well, you got that close at the end of the map up. So how will that affect the next map in Haven if that is the opposing pick?
Yep, and this was a Sonic pick, actually. So the Sonics chose into split. Next match coming in is going to be C9. They chose Haven. But you make a good point. The team seems like it's heavily built around managing Squishy and pushing him into positions where he can dominate, which is a viable strategy in certain elements. But as you get to working with teams who have been together a little bit longer, that might prove a little bit more of a challenge. But in this match, certainly paid off for him. I think we saw it. Squishy dropped a 30 bomb. In the first match of the tournament that he's in. That's not too shabby for my tabby, if I ever saw one. But thinking through the economy. So on the attacker side, Cloud9 rarely 4-spot. They saved for 5 rifle rounds. We actually, I know Fickle, you had noted it towards the end of the half, that was pretty consistently how they were starting their attacking play, and they continued throughout. Whereas we saw Soniqs taking riskier buys, really focusing on ways to turn the round. We consistently saw shotgun plays, for example, them. Fickle, thinking that, did the riskier plays pay off for Soniqs in terms of their economic purchases?
Typically they put one person on the op, and then they had Spuda save his money for the judge. So I think Spuda was being a little bit of a economy stim beacon, because he was actually buying rifles for some people when they were getting kills, losing their rifles. But if you're buying a judge every round, you're saving like 800 to 900 credits per round, so you can easily buy out for your other members. So it works for them, because Spuda doesn't technically need a rifle to be effective. So in that instance, it does work for them, but they just got outgunned in those rifle rounds. So you can only take so many people out on the judge before you actually get traded. So he got his 1 kill, but if it's a Vandal, maybe you can get 1 or 2 after that. So that's just probably unfamiliarity with the guns, but taking what you're comfortable with is how you play.
Sure, and this seems to be like a comfort game for everyone. When you play into a first round of a match where you don't have a lot of detail about the enemy players, of course you're going to play more to your comforts and your strengths. I will say though, if I'm picking between the two, I'm going to go Bucky. If I'm going to be able to manage my economy a little bit more, the Bucky's only $1,000 and has that right click that's a little bit more viable. I like to go that direction. I can see where this worked out well for them. And again, you play to your strengths. It sounds like we're going to be going to a quick break here before we jump into map number 2, which will be on Haven. So folks, don't go anywhere. This is Giant Slayer Spy Crush on Rival Esports. We'll be right back.